Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Elon Musk. In this article, it talks about him sounding the alarm on the US dollar. We're going to look at this, and I feel like Elon is signaling that cryptocurrency could make brand new millionaires. I believe the nouveau riche or the new rich will without question be cryptocurrency investors. Now, nothing in this channel is considered financial advice. I'm just a frantically biased, enthusiastic cryptocurrency YouTuber. I believe in this technology, and I believe this technology is going to change the world. And I've been predicting that Bitcoin would eventually hit $1 million per Bitcoin. And I started this prediction all the way back in 2017. I've documented it on this channel. I genuinely believe that's going to happen one day. And I believe, well, I don't know if Elon Musk thinks Bitcoin is going to $1, but I do believe that he's incredibly bullish on cryptocurrency. And we're going to look at what he said, why he said it. I'm going to talk about, for me personally, as a cryptocurrency investor, what this means for me and what part of my investment strategy is. And many of you know on this channel, I'm a passive income investor, specifically in the cryptocurrency space. So I'll be talking to you a little bit about that as well towards the end of the video. Let's look at this news article here. Elon Musk sounds the alarm about the US dollar. The billionaire global CEO worries about the loss of the greenback's influence, which he attributes to the Biden administration's foreign policy. Listen, I don't know that Biden has helped. I don't think his foreign policy has actually helped the US dollar at all. But President Biden is not the only president that we've had that's hurt the US dollar. In fact, I think most presidents since Nixon has actually hurt the overall US dollar standing in the world. What I mean by that is the trend, meaning through some presidents we've had a strong dollar, but those presidents were making decisions like increasing government spending again and again and again. And long term, all of those decisions help to weaken the dollar. Let's look at what Elon Musk said. We'll scroll down here, and it's right here. He responded to this Genevieve, I believe here, who's a certified financial advisor, it looks like. But she said the U.S. dollar is losing its reserve currency status. Here's what you should know. And Elon responded and said, serious issue. U.S. policy has been too heavy-handed. Oh, we're going there now. U.S. policy has been too heavy-handed, making countries want to ditch the dollar, combined with excess government spending, which forces other countries to absorb a significant part of our inflation. So let's talk about why this is important, and not enough people understand this. Now, the inflation issue that we have in our country is one of the things that turned me on to Bitcoin a long time ago, and the way the government manipulates inflation. Literally, it was the fundamental reason for why I first got interested in cryptocurrency when I understood that Bitcoin could not be manipulated the same way that our central bank currencies can, such as the US dollar. Right now, about 60% of central banks around the world hold reserves in US dollar. Why is that important? Because if you hold reserves, if you have, a savings account that's an emergency fund for your family, then how important is it for that emergency fund to maintain its value? And if I told you that I was going to effectively steal 6% of your emergency funds every single year, year over year, I was going to steal 6%, steal 6%, how would you feel about that? Chances are you wouldn't like it very much. Well, right now we're at 6% inflation and probably going up with the US dollar, probably closer to 8%, and that's based on official numbers. Real inflation may be higher than that. So these countries around the world are literally getting poorer. Their reserves are getting weaker. That's why we see things like this right here. Local currency trading challenges, US dollar dominant. So a lot of this news story is talking about how a lot of countries are starting to diversify away from the US dollar. And that's not good long term for the US economy overall. So I want to go here. Elon Musk was responding to this tweet here. She does a good job of explaining this in her tweet. I actually started following her after I read this. So check out Genevieve Roch, however you say that, Dexter. Okay. She says, what you should know. So bear with me. We're going to go through this step by step because this is incredibly important. And literally, I understand what she's saying here, but she articulates it really well, and I want my audience to be in the know. Ladies and gentlemen, if you watch me, I cannot give you financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But I want you to understand why I make the decisions that I make. And at the very least, that should be a starting point for you to be able to go do your own research. Literally, what this woman explains here, I have been aware of since way back before 2017, probably 2014, 15. I first became aware of Bitcoin when Bitcoin was trading at about $300. Of course, I didn't invest then and probably should have, but it was very difficult to buy Bitcoin back then. There were no exchanges or anything. But as one of my viewers, I want you to understand the fundamentals that I believe are going to cause cryptocurrency to create brand new millionaires. And I believe the first trillionaire in the world, I mean, trillionaire, true trillionaire, liquid trillionaire, I believe will be a cryptocurrency investor. I genuinely believe that. And it's because I think that this entire, I mean, we're just in the beginning. Yes, in the short term, I'm concerned about crypto regulations, no question about it. But in the long term, I believe that cryptocurrency is going to transform the economic world as we know it. And if you agree with that, do me a favor and smash that like button. And of course, if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button, click that bell notification icon. So Genevieve goes on to explain here. There's about 6 posts here we're going to go through, and then we'll talk about investing. She said the US dollar has been the backbone of the global economy for decades. Several countries even use the US dollar as an official currency, like El Salvador, Panama, and Ecuador, meaning that the US dollar is their currency. In 1944, the Bretton Woods Agreement established the US dollar as the world reserve currency. 44 countries agreed to a global monetary system that would be underpinned by the dollar, which in turn was backed by gold. That system was done away with in 1971. Okay, so get this. The rest of the world said, hey, we'll use the dollar. And part of the reason they agreed to use the dollar is because back then, every dollar was backed with a dollar's worth of gold. So there was no way that it could get inflated. That's how the dollar addiction began, if you will. But in 1971, Nixon ends convertibility of the US dollars to gold and announces wage price controls. This was really the beginning of the end for the US dollar, meaning as being the dominant currency of the world. With inflation on the rise and a gold run looming, President Nixon's team enacted a plan that ended dollar convertibility to gold and implemented wage and price controls, which soon brought an end to the Bretton Woods Agreement. Or the Bretton Woods system. So this agreement said, hey, you can use our dollar, and basically we promise to keep them backed by gold. So eventually this is the U.S. government breaking that promise right here. And they broke the promise. Why? Because it was becoming a run on gold, and inflation was going up. Now, not only are we having a run on gold, but we're starting to have run on some banks. And guess what? Inflation is going up even faster. We'll save that for another video, so make certain you stay subscribed. Okay. Historically, the US dollar has been a safe haven for international investors. In times of crisis, money often flows into the US dollar as investors seek refuge from trouble in other economies. But 2014 was a huge turning point. Now pay attention to this. 2014, most people were not paying attention. Bitcoin economists were, Bitcoin maximalists were, but most average investors were not aware of this. In 2014, Russia and China looked to shift the paradigm. They no longer wanted to rely on the US dollar for international trade investment. This trend is called de-dollarization. Now, what's interesting is the first time you hear that, you're like Russia, China. They sound like rogue nations. Their economies are so-so. Their regimes are very controlling, if you will. Their governments are very controlling, not necessarily known for having a lot of economic freedom. And most Americans think nothing of this. Who cares? Let China and Russia be unto themselves. But China is a big reason, literally a big reason, why we have the standard of living that we have in the U.S. They produce a lot of cheap products. And part of the reason those dollars are cheap, part of the reason, is because we have a very strong dollar. So our dollar goes a lot further. It buys a lot more Chinese goods. The main reason that we have a strong dollar is because people want to hold our dollar in their reserves. People like China. China is one of the largest international holders of American debt. So, for example, when you hear that America is sending aid to Ukraine, for example, what that really means is America, because America doesn't have any savings. We're in debt. What we do is we borrow money from China, or we essentially sell them debt. We borrow money from China. They pay us. We sell them treasury bonds or treasury notes. They pay us. And then we take those funds and we use those funds to be able to send aid to Ukraine. That's literally how that works. So it's same thing with Social Security. It's same thing with Medicare, Medicaid, all defense spending. We literally sell debt or borrow money from other countries like China, and then we use those funds to help pay for things here in the U.S. Hashtag government spending. So that's important to understand. So we need people to want to hold the U.S. dollar. And when China's choosing to opt out, and it's not just China anymore. We just saw what 5, 6, 7 days ago that Brazil and China now agreed to stop using the dollar. This is de-dollarization. And you're like, Brazil, okay, it's a South American country. Let's wait until it hits Europe. Let's wait until European countries. Okay. Well, I think it's France and China has already done a trade outside of the US dollar system. So it's starting to spread. Back in 2014, people thought this was no big deal. Now we're seeing it spread to more modern countries. De-dollarization is happening everywhere. Central banks bought gold at a faster pace last year than they have in any year since 1907. This signals a desire for countries to back their own currencies with gold rather than the US dollars. I actually take issue with this. I don't know that they're backing their currencies with gold. I don't think that's actually happening at all. But I think they're holding on to gold for a better reserve, a more stable reserve as opposed to the dollars. And I think they're going to be putting some of their reserves in other currencies. By the way, years ago, I did a video talking about the path to mass adoption. And one of those paths was that countries would start buying Bitcoin or some sort of main crypto asset. And I think that's already starting to happen. I just don't think it's happening on a big enough scale yet, because when major central banks start buying Bitcoin, for example, and I believe that's going to happen. I genuinely believe that's going to happen. And when that starts, why? Because it's easier than gold. Because countries like El Salvador, for example, countries like Argentina. We already saw a news story where Argentina a couple years ago, basically, the Lloyds of London was holding their country's gold and was refusing to give it back to them. Their gold, their country's reserves, they put it in and held it in Lloyds of London. And the UK government was preventing them from getting their own gold out. Well, you don't have that issue, for example, with Bitcoin. And you don't have to worry about storing it. Security is an issue, but it's far easier to secure Bitcoin than it is to secure, for example, $1 million worth of physical gold. So I genuinely believe we're going to start seeing people, major countries, start buying Bitcoin in the long term to be able to back or to give either back currencies or to give an alternate reserve to their currencies. And in the end, I believe the country holding the most Bitcoin wins, or Apex crypto assets in general. Today, trade is shifting away from the purview of the US dollar, meaning countries are starting to buy and sell outside of the US dollar. Take a look at how the volume of the Chinese Russian trade denominated in yuan has spiked since the start of 2022. So we can see that how much Chinese yuan is being used. Other markets are shifting to the yuan as China becomes a more influential superpower. Right here, China and France. This is on the March 29th. China and France completed their first yuan settled. This is a liquefied natural gas. Yuan settled LNG trade, signaling the end of using the U.S. dollar for these energy trades. The U.S. dollar works. Part of the reason the U.S. government is such a strong government economically is because, yes, we have incredible military might, but we can afford that military might because we have a strong U.S. dollar. And right now we're able to print more dollars, and those dollars don't lose, or historically has not lost value too quickly, because we've always been able to raise interest rates and things like that to keep inflation under control. Right now, government's having a hard time raising interest rates. And us as citizens are going to get taxed to oblivion, most likely. I believe we're going to see higher taxes, not only in this administration, but the next administration. Even if it's a Republican, I think we're going to see higher taxes. Mark my words. I said it here. Bookmark this video. The reason we're going to see higher taxes is because they're going to attempt to fight inflation. They are not going to raise interest rates. Raising interest rates hurts big businesses, hurts the banking industry. It also hurts you and I, the average investor. Raising taxes, it disproportionately hurts the average individual investor. So we have to be aware for that. And I think we can fight against this, in my personal opinion. At least I'm attempting to. I'll share with you how I'm doing that here in a moment, a little later in the video. But this fight for dollars is far from over. The dollar still dominates foreign exchange reserves, but that lead is slowly being chipped away. And I would say it's happening pretty slow right now, but I think it's going to speed up. As you can see, the US dollar is 60% of global US reserves, global central bank reserves. Here's a chart from the Federal Reserve that shows how foreign exchange reserves have changed since 2000. The dollar has been slowly but steadily losing its share of foreign reserves. Does this mean the US dollar is doomed? Not at all. It's still considered one of the most stable currencies, if not the most stable currency in the world. There is still a strong demand for US dollars, but now the dollar has some serious competition. I agree with this statement, but I would say this. I actually think that the US dollar has some serious competition, and it's going to be very interesting because the country who holds the most reserves and has the strongest workforce, I believe, is going to strongest meaning sheer number of people willing to work at a competitive wage. I believe they're going to win because they're going to be able to outproduce and they're going to have economic strength. And I believe that I don't want to say it's swinging towards China. There is some movements towards China, but China's got its own share of problems as well. But I believe definitely we're going to see the US dollar start to continue get weaker and weaker and weaker. So this is a problem for anyone who's holding. Like I know somebody who has most of their retirement funds in liquid US dollars. That is horrible. Like that is horrible. So here's me and my thinking when it comes to investing in cryptocurrency, because I genuinely believe that cryptocurrency is going to skyrocket eventually. I mean, absolutely blow the top off, just go to the freaking moon. So here's the thing. Any major asset like real estate, for example, is going to go up faster than inflation. Period. End of story. Historically, it does. It's going to appreciate in value far faster than inflation. Even holding gold, the only time that I would recommend holding precious metals is really as an insurance hedge against inflation. But right now, we may be in that time. So having a little bit of precious metals could be very, very important. Same thing with cryptocurrency. Now, I would not recommend someone put their whole retirement fund in Bitcoin or crypto, but you definitely want to be looking at the cryptocurrency market. Now, here's the challenge with the cryptocurrency market. And I know I sound like I'm a perma bull for crypto, and I am. But this is an insanely volatile market. Bitcoin goes down by 80 to 85% every 3 to 4 years. You have to be prepared for that cycle. Like that is a reality. And a lot of people are not prepared for that. The other challenge is in all of these assets outside of real estate, because you can have rental property and real estate, but gold and silver does not produce an income. Real estate is not very liquid. And the income stream can be quite low. In cryptocurrency, I'm a fan of looking for passive income strategies, investing in real income strategies, not some sort of, you know, Ponzi scam or, pyramid scheme, like real income strategies that are being able to be produced, for example, real profits that can be extracted out of the market. I don't care if it's traded, copy trading, trading bots, whatever. I'm a fan of copy trading, and I have my own journey where I'm looking to pull $500 per month to $5,000 per month out of my copy trading strategy. If you want to follow my journey, you can go down in the description, click on the link, and you can put in your name and email, and you can follow along with my journey. But I want you to understand that it's important that you understand the cryptocurrency market, understand the fundamentals that's going to drive this market forward, recognize why someone like Elon Musk, who by the way freaking changed the Twitter logo to Doge. Can we please say it's incredible when you have a $44 billion company that you paid for, hashtag Twitter, and you're a crypto bull at the same time. I mean, I think outside of this tweet, I mean, he responded to this girl's tweet. Outside of this tweet that he responded to, and then all his tweets about Dogecoin and cryptocurrency. Listen, I'm not someone who thinks Elon Musk is a flippin' angel, but I love when there's someone out there who's like a thorn in kind of mainstream politicians or mainstream finance side. I mean, the SEC goes after Elon Musk and he's like, I don't care. I don't really like the SEC. Very few people have the cojones to be able to do that. I mean, that's a boss move. Being able to change this from the Twitter logo to the Doge dog, I mean, that's a boss move in my opinion. Responding to this girl's tweet, A means he reads and follows, But to respond to her tweet the way that he did, like, he gets it. He understands that the dollar is getting devalued and is going to continue to get devalued. The Federal Reserve cannot do anything. They cannot raise interest rates. They're unfairly attacking cryptocurrency because they're going to make their own move with their own central bank digital currency, and that's coming for another video. We'll continue to talk about that, so make certain that you subscribe to the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a video where I talk about investing in real yield passive income assets in the cryptocurrency space. I'll put that video above. This is a cryptocurrency channel. You can watch that video. It's those real yield assets that I believe are being able to invest in real yield cryptocurrency projects that I believe is the way to go when it comes to investing in crypto. Use that passive income to buy your altcoins. Use that passive income to hodl, Bitcoin, to hodl Ethereum. Why? Because if not, what you always have to do is you have to either bring more fiat currency in, more dollars in, or what you have to do is you have to constantly figure out what to sell to buy. So the market's down, a project's not doing well, crypto's not doing well, so you sell that one and you're trying to chase the next pump. That's horrible, because then by the time, if you're like me, by the time you sell one to chase the pump, that pump is over and the one you sold goes up in value. Or if you're able to earn $1,000, $500, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month in passive income through cryptocurrency, if you're able to actually do that, if you can pull that off, now you've got a passive income where you can keep your assets that are earning alone. You can take those real yield passive income assets, and there's so in that video I talk about, I think, 3 or 4 different projects. We're talking about projects that are paying 30% APR, 50% APR, even higher in some cases. Real yield, meaning they're earning real revenue, and you're able to profit from a business or a project, a smart contract that is actually earning real revenue. Again, I'll put that video above, real yield crypto projects. I'll link it above. You can take a look at it. I'll try to remember to put it in the description as well. But ladies and gentlemen, I believe that Elon Musk is one of those that's in the know, especially when it comes to crypto. I pay attention to what he says. I have historically never invested in Doge. I've traded Doge because it's so volatile, but I've never actually invested in it. But I will tell you that I am not one of these people that get tribalistic about cryptocurrency. If you believe in the future of this technology, then I want to hear what you have to say. I may or may not like your project. I may or may not like the direction that it's going in. But if it's a cryptocurrency project, I am team crypto all the way. And it's about time, ladies and gentlemen, that people wake up and recognize what this technology is and what this technology can do. And if you agree with that, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Decentralized cryptocurrency equals freedom. This is Crypto Wealth. I'm out. Oh, one more thing. Before I forget, I've got a video coming out. I got a video talking about a very controversial cryptocurrency founder. You're not going to want to miss that, because I think that while people were too busy criticizing this guy, he was helping people literally make millions. And some people are still making millions because of him. So I've got a video coming out about him here in the next several days. Also, I've got a video coming out where I'm actually going to show you some of my personal passive income strategies. So right now, the best I've got for you is a real yield video. Go ahead and watch that. I've got a video coming out where I'm actually going to show you some of my actual strategies, and I'm going to be showing, like, not only, hey, I'm investing in this project, like the Lyra protocol, but exactly how I invest in that project, personally what I'm doing, so you can actually see my personal strategy. So make certain you stay subscribed, click the bell notification icon, and click all. You don't want to miss those videos. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments, what is one of your favorite passive income cryptocurrency strategies? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. This is Crypto Wealth. I'm out.